If you are expecting sex from someone and end up being denied, you might croak sooner than expected. A new study from the University of Michigan published in the journal Science suggests that sexual frustration can shorten lifespan. As the researchers state, quote, male fruit flies that perceive sexual interest from their female counterparts without the opportunity to mate experience rapid decreases in fat stores, resistance to starvation, and more stress. The sexually frustrated flies lived shorter lives. So Elliot, essentially...
There was a little bit too much relish in the way that you were expressing that, Lissette. I'm trying not to read too much into that.
It can kill you. It can kill you.
But only for the boys. What about the girls?
Only for the male fruit flies, yeah.
So they didn't do any...
Not for the women.
We don't know about the female fruit flies.
We don't know about
if they don't get any, that causes them to...
We don't know what that causes them. Maybe cry or eat lots of chocolate and ice cream. No, but so what the scientists did is that they used sensory manipulations by exposing male fruit flies, only males, to other male fruit flies. But they changed the pheromones in these male fruit flies so that they secreted pheromones that essentially made them smell like female fruit flies. But when they got closer and wanted to get down, and I know, it's evil. So when the fruit flies got closer to the other...
Sounds like being in Thailand. It's awful.
Okay.
Jeez.
All right.
Not that I know, but I mean, God.
No, but really, so obviously there was an expectation that they would be getting it on, but they ended up with blue balls. You can't, male fruit flies can't mate with each other. So nothing happened, and they became really, really frustrated. So the researchers, in addition to manipulating the pheromones, they also manipulated specific neurons in the brain that were linked to pheromone perception, right? So it's a very sophisticated study for such a simple animal.
Sure.
And again, the results are pretty significant. So they had overall poorer health. They had fewer fat stores, could not fend off starvation as easily, and significantly more stress. These poor fruit flies were dying sooner than they should.
How do you tell whether a fly is stressed or not?
You can measure their responses to different things.
Is that right?
Yeah, but the thing that's
I've never seen a stressed fly. I guess maybe when they're pinging against the window. Right, yeah, maybe.
But the interesting thing about flies and why scientists like to use them a lot is that they usually live about 60 days, so you can really measure changes in longevity, so their lifespan.
Gotcha.
It's hard to do with humans, right? And you don't know what's what, but you can keep them in relatively controlled environments for 60 days.
Right.
But I think it's kind of interesting that in this study that they're essentially saying, biologically we're kind of programmed to mate. Like if we can't mate, why live?
Okay, I'm going to ask an unfair question here, but I mean, so flies one thing. Why you would want to go down that road, I don't know, but I'm not a science type person. But extension to humans, are you going to make a leap here? Is this coming in?
I'm glad you brought that up. So yes, obviously we are not flies, but there are actually really close links between studies and research that has been found in flies and with humans. So for example, with the flies, when they were allowed to mate, then it partially reversed the effects, right? Same happens with humans. So if you, for example, people who have sex regularly have lower stress levels, lower levels of anxiety. People who are sexually active live longer in other studies as well, and have lower blood pressure. And in fact, several studies have now shown that women are less likely to develop even breast cancer when they're sexually active compared to women who are not. So we have evidence that sex can be good for us, right? What's interesting about this particular fly study, besides the similarities between fly research and people research, which granted,
I'm waiting for the big reveal here.
No, what's interesting about the story is that, quote, this may provide the first direct evidence that aging and physiology are influenced by how the brain processes expectations and rewards. In this case, sexual rewards specifically promoted to healthy aging. So here it's the reward impulses, right? So it's the physiology, like how we respond to things we want and not getting them, that I think that is exciting. It's not just, are you eating the right things or are you sleeping well? It's really, what do you expect and what did you get?